Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJNTV Insiders.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
This is Joe.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good, man. Episode number 150,000.
See, aren't you happy? I said a couple months ago, let's just stop counting. It doesn't matter.
I agree.
When we put them up on our, when we upload them to wherever, we can name them or number them. But
correct.
So I reorganized my basement. You see a little difference.
I don't know
if you're listening to this, you can't tell the difference. But
valid point.
yeah, and you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Me reorganizing my basement?
I do not. Spring
training is over. I'm just about wrapping. I've been working all winter with 3 awesome MCs, and they are just about ready to go. So basically, my basement has been, all the furniture has been pushed to the corners because we've been basically dancing around and everything else down here. But
that's awesome.
Last night we did a training, and I said, you know what, you guys are good to go. We've got 2 more sessions. Exactly. Yeah. But they're not performance sessions. So I was able to put my basement back together. So
it looks cool.
Yeah, it's been a fun winter. So yeah, now I can show off, if you can see back here, all my marathon
medals, memorabilia, signed propaganda from the Cowboys.
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff back there.
That one back there is it's Kelly's grandfather used to work out at Hofstra, and back in the late 60s, he got all the Jets to sign. It's a Jet.
Football
from the Super Bowl, from the year they won the Super Bowl. Namath is on that, and
that's
cool.
That's sweet. When Namath used to rock the fur coat.
Yeah, he was pimping. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was.
So we have kind of scratched this topic numerous times in our podcast, but we've never spent an entire episode talking about staff meetings. And I know this is something that you do on a regular basis. As do I. Did you always do them, Joe, or
Nope.
I think the regular listeners know Joe and I basically met each other or got to know each other. Joe hired me 10 years ago? More than that?
Yeah. I'm laughing because I think about
you think about the afterwards when I didn't recognize you.
When you snubbed me.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic story.
But Joe hired me to come down to Raleigh. Is it more than 10 years ago now?
Man, honestly, I mean, you and I, every year we say 10 years, but that's impossible because
so it keeps
we just
growing,
keep saying, we just keep saying, I think 10 years. But I mean, at least 10 to 12 years ago, you came down. Like I paid you to come down and consult. Absolutely.
And so was that the beginning of you doing regular meetings?
Yeah. It really was, Mike. I mean, we were doing, trainings and things like that and shadowing, and same thing we do now in terms of getting guys ready. But we weren't. The only time I saw my guys is if they came by to get a check, because we weren't doing direct deposit back then. So yeah, there was no monthly meeting or 9 times a year type meeting. It was strictly, I'll see you when I see you to come get a check. So if somebody didn't work for a while, it'd be 2 months I wouldn't see the guy.
And so part of my message when I did the consulting with Joe was you should be doing regular staff meetings. I used to say monthly, but I'll be honest with you, I don't do monthly anymore. We probably do 5 or 6 a year.
Yeah.
As I've mentioned, the winter, we're so busy doing showcasing, and I feel like I see my DJs on a regular enough basis at the bridal shows that I don't feel it's necessary there. But we just had one last month where we gave Dominic his 20-year plaque.
Right, I remember you saying that.
And we'll have another one in a few weeks. So now we'll start doing them even more regularly. So what's your schedule or regularity, or do you not have that? You just pop one up when you feel it's needed?
No, absolutely we do. I was just trying to pull up the last schedule here real quick. We do, Mike, probably 7 meetings a year, and then a couple of outings that I would try and kind of parlay a meeting into. So looking at the upcoming schedule, we just had one on April 9th. And then it looks like I listed at the bottom of the agenda, which I actually give out an agenda at every meeting. And this one was a full page of things I wanted to go over. But then it went May 7th, June 4th. It looks like we skipped July, which would be, we try and do that first Monday. So we skipped the early July because I know I'm always gone around the 4th of July. Then it looks like we're doing an August meeting, skip September, then do 10/1, skip November, and then the December will be our big company dinner where I'll say a few words. I'll usually go over I don't go over the gross revenue and things, but I'll say, hey, we did, 600 shows this year. Last year we did 558. Give yourselves a round of applause, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
do you give out any kind of awards, acknowledgments, anything like that?
5, 6,
You're counting.
7. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think we do about 7 meetings a year.
7. Okay.
Yeah. There's always. You mean at the end of the year thing, or just monthly?
Or at any point?
Oh yeah, no.
Like I said, last month we acknowledged Dominic, gave him a big 20-year plaque. I had let his wife know that was going to happen, so she popped into the meeting at the end to witness that. So it became a real feel-good moment.
I love that.
Do you do anything like that?
We've never done that, Mike, and I should, because I've got guys that have been here 12, 14, 16 years. But we always open the meeting with something positive, and that positive usually is the DJ of the month, which is usually the person that got the best review, not necessarily the most reviews, but the best, that person that writes 3 paragraphs on Wedding Wire where you're like exhausted after you read the entire thing.
And who makes that decision? You? Because best is subjective. It's not objective.
It is. I go through
make that decision.
I do. I go through all the ones that came in the previous 30 days and just kind of scan them and look through Wedding Wire and the Knot, Google, or wherever they put the reviews. I kind of hold them all in one mailbox and then just flip through them, really just hours before the meeting, and usually pick.
Do you ever give yourself DJ of the year?
Man,
or DJ of the
I
month?
think I tried to pull that one time, and people.
Well, I mean, you are a DJ.
I do get good reviews.
That's always one of my arguments with my staff. I should be included in any of those things because I am as much a DJ as anybody. So when it comes to annual awards, most referrals, I want to be included in that competition because I'm a worker.
And then just issue yourself the $25 iTunes gift card that I give out.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't see why not. I don't see why that's not I'm not eligible.
I don't know. It didn't go over well. I took myself out of the running, I guess.
Is that right?
Because I'm the judge and the jury on this thing,
Right. So I know when I talk to other multi-op owners, one of the questions that they give me all the time is, well, what am I going to talk about every month or 7 times a year if I set these meetings up? So how do you plan it out?
Yeah.
Do you similar to this podcast, do you have, you just laid out your meeting schedule for the year. Do you know what you're going to talk about on October 1st?
No, I don't. I only know, a couple of days before I'll start. So what I'll do, Mike, is let's just say that this meeting was on Monday, April 9th, the one I'm looking at the agenda for. And then anything that's happened since then, again, small things, or just people are filling out some form wrong, or, we got a new set of uplights. Like, I'll just start making a list of things to talk about at the forthcoming meeting instead of just spamming them with a bunch of, random small emails.
Right.
So I'll start making a list now, and then I literally just put together this Word document, and I'm looking at it now. Another thing we do, Mike, just if I can interject, a thing that we do at the beginning a lot of times, probably 3 times a year, is I bring in an outsider to talk to my guys about different things. So this guy, Sean Fitz, that does all of my life insurance, and he also does like financial planning. He works for like Northwestern Mutual or Edward Jones or somebody like that. The guy came in, honestly, Mike, didn't do a big sales pitch, gave a 10-minute spiel on who he was, the things that he can help people with, left a stack of his cards on the table, and walked out. I've also had my accountant come in, and told guys, how much money they should be putting away, and do they need help with their taxes and things like that. And she was there maybe 15, 20 minutes. Again, left her stack of cards, walked out.
I've done the same thing with chiropractor. I've had a chiropractor.
Have you really?
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, to talk about proper lifting techniques and different stretches you can do to help your back.
I'm writing that. Hold
on. That's bringing in other outside people who can talk to your staff, I think, is a wonderful idea.
Health insurance, that's another.
I'll give you a shameless plug here. My book that I published a number of years ago, Running Your Multi-Op, which is available at DJMikeWalter.com.
Got it.
I talk about the importance of staff meetings And I also have a list in that book of suggestions for topics.
I remember that.
And I think there's about 30 different suggestions, so that if you're stuck, I agree with Joe. I often, throughout the month, I have a Word document that I save. This one, the one on my desktop right now is May 2018 staff meeting. And so anytime I think of anything during the month, I just pop it into that Word document. But if 2 days before the meeting, I open that Word document and I'm like, oh, I've only got 2 or 3 things to talk about, then I'll go to my master list and say, oh, we haven't done this topic in a while. We haven't done this topic in a while. So I highly recommend, if you're stuck for ideas, get my book. It'll help you when you're stuck for ideas. But I think the regularity of meetings is extremely important. As I pointed out to Joe so many years ago, and I pointed out so many other multi-ops, how else do you have quality control with your staff other than getting together on a regular basis?
I mean, I couldn't agree with Mike more. I mean, like he said, it was one of those things where, when I go to consult with people or do phone calls with people, or, when I hire people to help me, I mean, you're never going to take notes and implement 100% of them. Some of them you just don't agree with. Some of them, just aren't applicable to your staff and your style. But I distinctly remember there were, 4 key things I'm sure that I took away from Mike being here for 24 hours. And that was one of them. And, here we are 10 years plus later, and we're still doing these monthly meetings. Again, the formality or non-formality is totally up to you. Like, I just made a decision the other day that this one on May 7th, because I just had a lot of work done in my backyard before it gets, sweltering hot down here in the South, that I'm just going to change this one on May 7th to my house instead of our office. And we're going to cook a bunch of burgers and dogs and drink beer and sit out on that little deck that I had built last year. So, got new speakers out there, everything. So we'll have a big time.
I think the social aspect of the meetings is just as important as conveying whatever information and knowledge and experience that you want to share with your staff. The second part of having those regular meetings is that you have an opportunity to bond with your crew. We often, if the meeting is supposed to start at 8, from 10 to 8 till 10 after 8, it's just bullshit flying around the room. Yeah. Everybody's telling stories about their latest events.
Mom jokes. A lot of mom
stuff
jokes
that happened. We don't do mom jokes because in New Jersey that can lead to a shooting very quickly. So we avoid mom jokes at all costs. But yeah, I mean, it's usually just funny stories about stuff that happened at events recently and things like that. And then when I finally feel like that part is winding down, that's when I launch into whatever content I've prepared. And, sometimes I just did it at this last meeting. I will also do a keynote presentation that I'll just, I'll run off of my laptop. I years ago said to myself, why do I bring more to the table when I do a seminar for people who don't work for me and, and don't benefit me as much as and yet I don't do that. So many years ago, I started, and I did this at this past meeting. I just threw a quick keynote together. For example, one of the big announcements that I made is that there's a banquet hall chain up here, 5 beautiful places that just started recommending us.
Nice.
So I made that big announcement by putting the pictures of those locations up, places that our staff loves playing in anyway. And I said, hey, by the way, Weddings of Distinction now recommends us. We're on their website. We're linked on their website. And that was a great feel-good moment. I could have just made that announcement, but putting the pictures of these banquet halls up on the screen, I think, similar to when I do seminars, just a little bit more
impactful. Yeah. Mike, let me interject there real quick. So, I mean, I know that, like, I've seen your staff group photos and things like that. Number one, how many people approximately come out of the total number on staff, A, and then B, where are you holding this thing?
So that's a great question. I'm able to hold it in the meeting room in our office. We're crammed in there. We're pretty tight.
Same here.
But I do chairs all the way around the edges of the room. I think last time we had about 18 people.
Out of?
Well, see, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I've got 18 MCs.
Sure.
So for the MCs, it's pretty mandatory. I want you to be there.
Yeah.
For the rest of my staff, they're invited. They don't have to come. The assistants, the photo booth techs, anyone else, the lighting techs, they're welcome. They know fully well about the meeting, but they're not going to get their balls busted if they miss 3 meetings in a row. So I think I had 16 of the 18 MCs there, and a couple of the assistants showed up. So that's what basically filled the room.
Gotcha.
So that's really because the content is specific for my headlining staff. You know?
Yeah. Same here. I mean, I think I run 15 guys out of here, and we usually have at least a dozen. And then we Skype in, or we use GoToMeeting, the Charlotte office, the Richmond office.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, we have them Skype in, and then at the end of the meeting, I always say, David, Brandon, and Frank, give us an update on what's going on in your market.
Right.
And they'll say,
now, have those guys built staff? Do they have staff underneath them there?
They do. Every once in a while, I'll have to send somebody from here that's open to cover a busy weekend up there or down there. But yeah, each of those offices run 3 to 5 guys.
So my question then about meetings, they're on the GoToMeeting. Is their staff also?
No, they're not. So they do have their own, meetings with their guys, not nearly as frequently, maybe just because they're kind of still in the growth mode. Right. And they do trainings and the same thing we all do. But no, it's just the owners. The 3 owners are on the Skype.
Okay. And then hopefully whatever they've learned from you, they can
pass.
Disseminate.
Exactly. Yes,
to their guys.
That's a great word.
Let's make that the word of the episode. Can you spell disseminate?
I don't know if I can, actually.
I don't think I can either.
D-E-S-S.
Am I using it? I am using it correctly, right?
Oh, no. I think it's D-E-S-S.
I know you don't want to get political, but disseminate is trick. Now, I mean, you give the information and then it gets disseminated. I think I'm using it correctly.
I would have spelled it wrong. D-I-S-S-E-M-I-N-A-T-E. Spread or disperse. Something, especially information, widely. Yeah, you crushed that.
Yes. I'm the vocabulary guy.
You really are. Nice.
You're the spelling guy.
I'm the accent guy. I'm the color guy.
You didn't mind my joke?
Sports?
You didn't mind my joke?
Oh, I loved it, dude.
I just made a big announcement. I'm speaking in England next year, and I put, of course, you know me. I had to put. Mark asked me to put a video together, so I did a goofy one where I started out using, and I'm horrible with the accent, so I started out using this English accent, and I wrote the script, and Chris is off camera, and he says, "You don't have to use an accent. You don't use a stupid Southern accent when you speak down in North Carolina, do you?" And I just said, "No, I let Joe Bunn do that." I was like, "Oh, I hope Joe doesn't mind."
Every time that video got posted, I just spam underneath it, and I go, "I sure would like to get on that bill." Did you see that? Like every time you post it, or anybody posted it, I sure would like to be on that bill. I sure. Even a bonus CC, wasn't he just out there?
I think he was.
And I wrote under his post, I'm like, how is it that I've been speaking 10 years and you've been speaking 6 months and you're in England and I'm in Raleigh?
Are you following his latest trip, Brian?
He's like in Italy or something. He is
all around. He's gone all around Europe. And I think they're all paying gigs. I mean, God bless this.
He's a legend, man.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I can't. And every post I just write, if you need me, I'm in Raleigh.
Right. I'll come, just strike gear for you.
Right. Can I carry your crates? Old school.
Fly me out. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's classic.
All right, so let's put a bow on the meeting episode. Any last thing you want to add? Let's say there's a multi-op who's listening to this and say, I've never had regular staff meetings. It seems like a colossal pain in the ass. Sell me on why I should do this.
I think this will sell you because we have a few minutes left, and I'm just going to quickly run through the last agenda that I did for anyone that is totally stumped or thinks it's totally unnecessary. You know what I mean? So let me literally just run through this exact. I pulled it up. Again, just Mike, do you give out like 15, 20 pages? I mean, single sheet, like agendas to all the people?
No, I don't. You're actually more organized in that regard than I am. I usually have an agenda that is either written or in my keynote.
Sure.
And I follow my points, but no, I don't.
But I do like the keynote idea, so
it's great.
I kind of wrote that down. But anyway, so we had the presentation from the financial planner guy. I announced the DJ of the month. And then I also had a contest for the people that were using this new app that I've been working with the company locally here, PhotoFi, if you haven't checked that out. I gave a $50 cash prize to him, $25 gift card to the winner of the DJ of the month. And then I went into the wedding show recap. So we didn't do any of the big shows. We don't really do the kind of cattle call ones, but we did about 6 or 7 of these boutique shows and different clusters.
And these are the ones where various, like you don't do them all. One of your DJs did one, another DJ did. Yeah.
So I would say Mark and Kalanji, didn't you two guys do that one at the cloth mill? And they were like, yep. And I go, tell me what happened. It was, well attended. I definitely booked 2 shows off of it. So on. Okay. Randy and Steve, didn't y'all do the one at the stock room? Yes, we did. How was it? Blah, blah, blah. Then I recapped Mobile Beat. I told them about the workshop, how I spoke there, selling my new training videos, and then moved on from there. And then I just had some reminders. Like I looked basically at the last agenda to see if anything was needing to be spoken about that was carrying over into this one. So we had changed the overtime hour, I think at the end of last year, from $300 to $325. But people were saying, well, what do you do if somebody just needs a half hour? So there was some discrepancy. Is it 150? Is it 175? Or is it whatever the
6250? I think it would be.
Right,
yeah.
162. And so we just made it 175.
Right.
I had ordered new polos for everybody. Those were here. We gave those out. We had new T-shirts. I gave those out. Then I went through a whole thing where I put my screen of my phone up on the Apple TV and ran through again how the staff can be adding to the Instagram story every Saturday. If we have 10 shows, I can get 4 or 5 guys doing it. I would love for there to be, 10 guys adding to the story. Doesn't happen.
But let me make this point.
Sure.
If you weren't reminding them on a regular basis at a meeting, you'd probably get 0 of your DJs.
100%.
So the fact that you're getting half of your staff contributing
Somebody's
can
listening.
be chalked up to the fact that you're regularly reminding them. And especially this past meeting, I think, was essential because similar to you, you're now going into your busy season, right?
Yeah, hardcore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, that would be a running topic. Like I would mention that at every meeting, that particular topic. Made sure everybody was using the latest version of the Keynote. We use a Keynote when we meet with our couples. And that everybody was giving out the newest, I give out that little book, Mike, that goes along with it, the little bride book.
Yeah.
Or I don't call it the bride book anymore because we do so many types of weddings, the wedding book. Then we did get some new uplights, so I showed the guys those and if there were any differences. Made sure everybody had dance floor lighting, which is kind of part of their basic package that they're supposed to have now. So everybody...
And this was all crammed into one meeting.
Yeah. It was.
And how long did this
it was probably
meeting take?
It was right at an hour, 60, 70 minutes tops.
Yeah, that's about my goal. I usually shoot for 45 minutes.
And we start earlier than you. You said y'all started at 8?
Yeah, here's why. Why I don't like. I want my salespeople to be able to have a full night before we shut the office down. So we usually do it at 8 o'clock from 8 to 9.
So wait, your salespeople. Oh, that's right, because they're meeting with people after hours.
Yeah,
I got you.
Right.
I got you.
We have office hours till 8 o'clock every night, so I'd rather not close the office early for something like this.
I got you. Yeah, we do 6:30, and most people would know, not to schedule a bride meeting. Of course, listen, if they wanted to schedule a bride meeting over our meeting, I would push ours back a little later. But 6:30 gives everybody a chance that that has a full-time job to be able to get here from wherever in Raleigh. Whenever the new uplights, we talked about, some charity things. Had everybody done their freebie or scheduled a freebie for the year like I've talked about before? I said your playlists need to be on point. It's about to be, like you said, the season. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that was it. And I again, went to the other offices, let them tell about their, successes and or problems or whatever they were having. And then I said, let's plan an outing because we all went to the Durham Bulls game last year, which is like a AAA or whatever baseball team we have here. And then I said, here are the dates for the upcoming meetings. Put them in your phone right now. Meeting adjourned. So there's a top-down look at exactly what a 60, 70-minute meeting looks like here at Bunn DJ Company.
Yeah, we touched on some similar topics. One of the big things that and again, because I had the keynote, I put this up on the screen. We work with our photography company all the time. And one of the frustrating points for me is that some of my DJs don't get great shots when they work with our staff, with photographers. And that blows my mind. I'm like, this is an opportunity for you. You know how many DJs across the country can never get a photo from their wedding? Right. So we have this built in, this is our photo staff. This is our DJ. Just come away from every wedding when you work with Elite Digital with a couple of new promo shots. So instead of just saying this frustratingly, I put some pictures up on the screen. I showed them how they could get those pictures, how you can position yourself on the dance floor or behind your board. And so I think that, and I've already seen the results in the first couple of weeks. So I think that was the biggest gain from this past meeting. And then, like I said, the big announcement about the new referral source and a few other places that are recommending us. And then the big finish with Dominic's thing. So I just think there's no other better way to make sure quality control, camaraderie with your staff, and all that. Than
not only you with your staff, but those guys with each other.
But the staff with themselves,
sure.
no doubt. Yeah.
Mike, how long would your meeting be? Sorry.
45 minutes to an hour.
Right.
You know, and a lot of it depends. And then if we do it at a hotel, which we do sometimes, I'll often say first round is on me. Let's head to the bar. I don't like to have alcohol before the meeting, but after the meeting, if we're in our office, I'll have a case of beer there right after the meeting's over. Because to me, once you crack the beer, it's like, okay, the professional part's over. Now it's completely
You're
social.
only hearing out of like your left side at that point.
Right, exactly. So I'm all for having a drink with my staff, but after the dissemination of information is not. How's that?
So good. All right. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's good.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, again, if you haven't texted PHDJ to 919-364-6186, you can be added to our little group dissemination text.
There you go. Word. I'm just going to call this episode dissemination.
It sounds dirty if you actually don't say it right. The way I say it doesn't sound the same as the way you say it for some reason.
that southern accent. Again, that creepy southern accent.
Again, text the word PHDJ to 919-364-6186. Subscribe to us on our iTunes and everywhere else it's going to be available. And stay tuned for an announcement. I'm going to try and get us moved and pushed out to even more platforms. So hopefully we'll be on Spotify and Google Play soon. Working on that now. All right.
Nice. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, man.
Have a great one.
You too, Mike. Later, man. Thanks, guys.